Hello, people. This is Donald Trump. I have been invited to my boss Bolshevism. As you can see, I am wearing a mask, just like Kanye West wore a mask to Alex Jones. Just so you know if it's me or not. And we're going to evaluate leftist politics or the left politics. So let's start with this Hassan. His name is already suspicious. And let's do this.
All right.
Let's do Haitians eating pets from the reincarnated Adolf Hitler.
There was Haitians in a white van driving around.
Like, why would you start with that guy? And then AI art of a black dude with a bunch of cats. That's something I've noticed.
That is not AI. Okay, that is the truth. Immigrants are eating pets,
Dude, I don't know what
eating
it is.
cats,
Like, I think there's something
eating dogs.
minds of
Yeah, running
conservatives
away
that, like, AI
from
art really appeals to.
Springfield,
I never
Ohio,
see AI art like conservative.
in a rapid succession.
Collecting
They're worthless. Bunch of worthless.
and government assistance, even the cash assistance cards. They're calling them the magic money cards because they never run out.
Means are nothing but a headache. All they're doing is raising our rent and our taxes.
While this is on, no, they're not a better mic than me. I am the former president of the United States. I should have a better mic. In other words, this other guy. You look suspicious. You look like you could be an immigrant.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. I'm having a hard time understanding you. Could you enunciate, please?
I do not enunciate. I just talk this way.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President.
I think it's the mask. The mask might be causing a problem.
How can I remove the mask? I'm recovery ground.
Town in Ohio, home to roughly 60,000 working class Americans, until 20,000 plus Haitian immigrants flooded into town with rumors of them eating the neighbors' cats and local geese. What did you do? Why'd you kill the cat? Did you eat that cat?
This is not even like, oh my god. This is a random black lady in Canton, Ohio. We are literally doing European style racism now. Like, we didn't pick up on any of the things on accident. We didn't pick up on healthcare, not even a crumb of like a welfare state or anything like that. Just Euro-fascist, anti-immigrant racism.
Universal healthcare coverage. It's socialism.
But we get the soccer hooligan racism.
Socialism is bad.
Jesus Christ. Parliamentary system.
Look at Venezuela. Look at all the criminals that are coming in from Venezuela.
They're eating like, that's crazy. Like, there are just like random black people that you just put together to be like, these are all Haitian migrants that
That's
are doing
me.
all of these
But I
things.
look good.
Like, this is the
It's shining there.
They want to do the same like the anti-Muslim pogrom
Very
that's taking
tan.
place in the UK. They want that in America. Luckily, our fascists are too fat and too self-involved and too swept away by football season starting to do anything like that. We don't have the organizational capabilities of ADL even. Yeah. Thank God. All their fantasies of pogroms are like the Hells Angels doing it. Yeah.
Dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
car accidents left and right, and driving locals out of their homes by paying above market rental prices with welfare subsidized by the American taxpayer. Are these Haitians eating cats? How did they travel 2,000 plus miles from Haiti all the way to Ohio? And do the blacks YouTube allow this? 18 hours, 1.5 million views. Like, YouTube is just straight up like, how is this? I mean, this is like Stefan Malnier. You remember, like, in the Gamergate era when like you had out and about like prominent white nationalists with like millions of views being like, yeah, actually
essentially like the average IQ of the black person is nowhere near as high as like the average IQ of the white person, and that's why we should do mass. We should.
I'm not gonna say anything about
I pulled up
that.
to Springfield myself to see if this was real or overblown.
Jesus, look at that AI, bro. For those who are watching or are listening,
No, that
it's our
that is new. I would say the cats. While I was running away.
it's our former president Donald Trump. It's an AI generated photo. It's President Donald Trump. Looks like he's running through a field with two cats. He's holding two cats, and behind him are two shirtless black men chasing after him. Supposedly after the cat, trying to get after the cats, which is like, wow, dude. Like at this point, bro, name a better duo. You know, race. Trump supporting racists and AI artists. Name a better duo.
I do not support racists. I am the anti-racist. I am the great conqueror of the United States, the supreme leader, and the beautiful hair.
Oh, very progressive of you, Mr. President.
A lot of this is alleged because I truly don't know what's going on, and neither does Twitter. Twitter is flying off of a few images and a few Reddit threads, and there are rumors that Haitians are taking neighbors' cats and eating them. Are you from Haiti by chance? Does everyone get along here in Springfield?
Yes.
Good.
Good. Other you're worthless. You're worthless.
When did the Haitian neighbors come and move here?
He cut out the full interview that he posted on Twitter, where he's like literally laughing alongside this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, he was like, "Oh, it's so funny." Like, you're a piece of shit.
No, say probably 5 months ago.
Okay. I spoke to a few of them in French.
I'm waiting for you selling fucking sandals. I tell him like this, fucking man. I don't like him, and I want to know. I got you. Pack up.
These are the good people of Springfield, Ohio.
Why did you come here to Springfield?
You said these are good people.
Yes.
Are these the fine people on both sides that you were touting some years back?
Yes. These are the fine people of both sides, but they left a tout on the other side.
I don't know, Mr. President. It sounds very very dubious to me. It doesn't sound very nice.
It is not dubious. It is the truth.
Okay. Whatever you say, Mr. President.
Please, I would like to be acknowledged as supreme leader. Try.
Okay.
Supreme leader, I'm sorry.
Okay. I heard there were rumors of Haitians eating the neighbor's cats and a Canadian goose. Is that true or completely false? No? Okay. Okay.
This whole thing about like goose. I mean, it's not even a Haitian in the first place. It makes me feel like Ralph Cifaretto talking to Tony Soprano. Oh, horse? You eat beef and pork by the.
I think we could stop the video here. I think the video is doing here. I don't know about crap and stuff like that. I think we got the fire. I have to come out the closet. Yeah. I have to come out the closet. I am not President Trump.
What?
Oh shit, my head. All right, let's have this. Like,
No way.
That was fun for like about it. It's gonna get annoying after a while.
Yeah.
They change the voice changers to sound like
evil, like the devil.
Oh, we got
That's not vanilla. That's Hacker 00 from the Deep Web.
Yeah, yeah. Hacks me, HACKZ ME. Yeah, hacks me. That's your name.
I don't even know why I have a mic, my mic in my head when I put it to my speakers. I was like, the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm wearing these for no reason. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. Actually, you do sound like what the devil would sound like if he was talking over a walkie-talkie.
Yeah. Yeah, I would put on the headphones or the because our voices it sounds like it's coming over the speaker, and again it's being processed through the voice changer.
You can hear your own voices.
Yes. Like not as loudly and as clearly as yours, but like I can hear like yeah, like background from it. Okay, now I wait.
No, wait, I haven't done it yet.
No, still hear it.
All right, how about now?
Test 1 2, test 1 2. Oh, okay. Now we're clear. Yeah, I don't hear anything.
As you can see, I was not Donald Trump. I am Mark Zuckerberg. I was impersonating Donald Trump. But
X.
someday I will get his social security so I can be Donald Trump when he dies.
This is parody. But yeah, man, hearing this stuff about the Haitians and their and the whole dog and cat eating stuff. It's like, listen, dude, like I don't know how much it's just so exhausting having to listen to like that's all these conservatives have is just racist fucking trolling and like like it's yeah, the memes are like kind of funny here and then, but like it's like no, like how are we the only thing, for example, that Kamala Harris has going for her is that up against when they're debating against each other, Trump sounds absolutely like bonkers. Okay, it doesn't matter that Kamala Harris is a soulless, kind of robot who just does the carries out the will of the Democratic Party and like doesn't really have any ideas of her own and just bites shit off, the Green Party and stuff, platform and all that. But it's like, yeah, compare. She is a competent individual when it comes to like, when she at least when it comes like when compared um to Donald Trump. And it's like it's one of the only reasons that she's doing well, but she's not like doing well by a large margin. It's just like because plenty of people still don't like her, and because she's not really all that likable. Um, she doesn't have good policy. She doesn't have like she was bullied into uh, her campaign was bullied into posting her like campaign policies and stuff and getting and making a website for that. Um, but prior she had like absolutely zero policies. So, which is it's not a good sign. If you're running for president, put up policies so we can compare. Um, like vibes is not vibes is not the answer, bro. Like vibes are cool and all, but shit's not gonna last forever. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah, the dialectics of this is that the Republican Party has become more and more racist and bigoted throughout the years. And, with MAGA, it has extremely gone to the far right. At least those that, support MAGA and stuff like that. We know about the MAGA communism, which is inherently contradictional, trying to support a far right candidate and trying to promote communism, a far left ideology. And they don't care who they like throw under the bus. They don't care that they throw under the bus like immigrants. They have hatred towards immigrants because like it is a white supremacist ideal that they don't want like Hispanics because they're a growing community in the United States. they don't want more because they don't want to lose their dominant power of being the majority. And then for some reason, the Latino community being the majority of the people in the United States, they don't want to lose that because they don't want to lose power. They don't want to lose their so-called values that they believe they're going to lose. Even though a lot of these Latinos are like Catholic or Christian, you know, this is the same issue with like UK and the Muslim community. Like they have a problem with the Muslim community because they're Muslims and they are scared that the Muslim community will overwhelm the the white community, the Christian community.
Yeah.
So they resort to fascist tactics that needs to be evaluated and it needs to be stopped because this shit shouldn't be allowed at all.
Yeah, fascists are always like whenever you think about like whenever you think about, you know, the new target for like fascist violence and stuff like that, the first thing you should look up is like how many of those people, like what's the percentage of that particular group that makes up this country. For example, trans people, they're like 1% of, they make up, I think, like 1 to 2% of the population in America. And you're like, so I'm supposed to be worried about 1%. Like the only, you know, it goes without saying, the only 1%, the only 1% of the population you should be worried about is the rich, obviously, forever and always. They're the problem. But I'm supposed to change my life, my way of like, I'm supposed to learn as just like a fucking regular normie. I'm supposed to like learn all this shit about these people and make them out into like monsters just because, you know, just because you're afraid of like talking to your kid about, you know, sex ed and like, you know, that shit's changed over the years. Like I like make it make sense to me. It's something that having grown up in a conservative household and with like Republican parents, and what led me away from that has always been um for example, um it's like, man, we really get ourselves hyped up over like the dumbest shit. I'm like, when you look at this shit objectively, you're like, yeah, this you know, this whole pronouns and all this other stuff, you know, back in the day it was political correctness and like gay people um getting, you know, legitimacy in you know, the army and all this other stuff, and which is another point entirely. um and it's like, yeah, this is like, you guys are the snowflakes you complain about. there's there's virtually nothing, that that you guys won't complain about or make some, you know, some imagined monster in your head. Like, and these fascists are always like, the person is always simultaneously too strong and too weak, right? The enemy is always, oh, these hordes of trans people, they're talking to your kids about becoming trans and transitioning and surgery. And it's like, but they're also like weak and not, you know, not they don't fit the fucking um the mold and whatever. It's really quite, it's so fucking bizarre.
The problem with the Democratic Party, apart from its policies, is also the fact that they're anti-gun, and that's a big issue. Not just for Americans, but like American communists that realize that we need guns in order to start a revolution and take over the government. And if that is suppressed, it's going to be hard to get those guns and to be able to be successful.
Marcus, can you change your voice back to normal?
What?
It's getting harder to decipher.
Yeah.
Let me change it to another voice changer. Hold up.
That or Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren was easy. Well, Kylo Ren was
Yeah, it was
to
easier.
listen to.
That was Kylo Ren.
That wasn't the devil.
All right.
I'm gonna talk as Biden.
That's better.
There we
That's
go.
fine.
That's so
So,
much better.
see, like the problem with this is like because I have slurs in my speech, the voice changer like messes it up and doesn't present the word that I'm trying to present properly. But yeah, like the anti-gun issues that many of these liberals believe that the government is going to protect them, so let's give up our guns and allow the police to have guns and have more power and to like further brutalize us with their authority, which is a problem with the Democratic Party and the liberals in general.
Oh my God. You saying I slur my speech while you sound like Biden, it's like, yeah, we know. And then you start talking about guns and police brutality. Oh God, that was good.
So yeah, like, do you have anything to say, Islamic socials?
Um, yeah, no, it's the Democratic Party, no matter how much we want to accept it, I've been accepted. It's moving significantly more and more far right, just as the Republican Party is. They're virtually indistinguishable from each other, and every single liberal and conservative will fucking fight me on those statements, but it's true. It's like just because the Democratic Party says, "Oh well, we're pro LGBT and we're pro, this that and the other." Okay, but you still agree with tightening down on the border just as much as the Republicans do. You still agree with just ransacking the fuck out of any nation that disagrees with the United States policies.
Hmm.
What makes you any different, really? You're still just as brutal, and we got a sign of that, which every fucking liberal on the face of the planet applauded. From Kamala saying, "I will make America the most lethal force in the world."
And even and not just that. In the last week, she's been bragging like, "Oh, I got the endorsement of Dick Cheney." It's like, and I remember back in the day when liberals were like, "Fuck Dick Cheney." They're like, "This guy needs to fucking die." They thought this dude was a devil, and he is. And they're like, "Fuck Dick Cheney. This guy needs to go. This guy needs to be like put in the fucking ground already." Like
I
he's
mean, but
he's yeah.
yeah, but I mean, but that's the thing, right? It's like we saw that with when Trump was like midway through his presidency, and these fuckers was rehabilitating Bush, and then
Yeah.
and then when Kissinger died, everybody, all, well, not everybody, a lot of the normal people was celebrating, but like,
Hmm.
the all the liberals were out here making fucking teary-eyed posts and shit saying, "Oh my God, we lost a good one." What the fuck do you mean a good one? This was a literal fucking demon in flesh
Hmm.
running around the planet.
They have no, oh my god, they have zero backbone. It's like I can't imagine. It feels like the more life goes on, the more I'm like, liberals absolutely do not have it together. They are not the adults in
They
the room.
they
They
liberals are not only what you just said, right? Like, liberals are not the adults in the room. They firmly think they are, and it's
Mhm.
because they are so fucking. And this is the problem, right? With evil people, at least there's actual evil people, like people who are fucked up, dark, all sorts of shit. At least for them, they know they are. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
you can sit and deal with a fascist, and he will say, "Yeah, no, I'm doing this, and I know it's wrong, but you know what? So what? The world's harsh, and I'm going to be just as harsh." And at least they acknowledge they're fucked up and they're bad. Liberals don't. Liberals think they are 100% good, that they are 100% in the right, that everything they do is for the good of the world, even when it's the most genocidal, crazy ass imperialistic shit on the planet. They are fully convinced in their arrogance that they are the good guys. And that is one of the reasons why they are so much they are just as dangerous as some of these more fascistic types.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and to as more proof of this like absolute fickleness of liberalism is I think back to when Trump first came into office, and they're like the lib resistance, right? They're like, oh, like yeah, so and so said, like some people were making like legitimate uh critiques about Trump and saying this, that, and the other, and it's like, okay, that's all well and good. Yeah, you absolutely, homeboy, this person's making some really good points, blah blah blah. um but then when it came to, like, for example, if Rex Tillerson or John Bolton, were to say one critical word about Trump, and let's say like, oh, this man's incompetent, he's incapable of leading the country, all of a sudden he gets a free ticket into he's like, oh, John Bolton or Rex Tillerson, welcome to the resistance. It's like, that's all it fucking takes. A broken clock is right twice. No, a broken clock is right twice a day. You can agree. You can absolutely agree with all the criticisms laid against, like, even your best friend or your worst enemy. But it's also very important to know where that's coming from. Know where that. It's like, in the same vein. It's like, perfect example of this: conservatives and Marxists hate liberals. Conservatives hate liberals because they're nice to gay people and want like peace for everybody else. Because they they're like, yeah,
It
no, we
depends
can have
on
a.
it depends on the conservatives. It
It
depends
depends.
on the
You're
conservative.
right. You're right. It depends on the conservative. But I would say, I'm generalizing here, but yeah, there's a good portion of conservatives who are like, yeah, I fucking hate gay and trans people, or like they don't they don't really care for them, and that's why they hate that they're quote unquote so open minded. And then Marxists, we hate them because it's like, you guys not only do you use our language and rhetoric, um, and make promises using our language and trying to convince people that you're the right way forward, um, you completely like pull the rug out from under them when like the time comes to like, actually vote or like
I
make
don't
progress.
I don't necessarily fully agree with that. I do agree with that to a certain degree, but I say this because, like, this is the thing, right? Ideologies and political beliefs do not start or stem from social and cultural political values. That's something that honestly I think more people need to understand, and something that I'm actually writing an article on liberalism being the left wing of fascism, because the big thing about ideologies is you can get ideologies that are, socially more progressive than others, right? Like this is something that's very common with, say, for example, libertarians. The libertarians are economically more right wing, but socially more left. This is the phenomenon. But when we look at from the economic standpoints, right, the economic and philosophical understanding of these belief systems, that is what starts characterizing them more along the lines of left versus right.
Mm.
Which, to be honest, with that stated, I just hate the paradigm. I hate that paradigm. I hate that paradigm because it's lackluster. It's vague. It doesn't go into depth. Um, but with that stated, right, it's like Marxist. There's Marxist. I personally agree with Hawes in this regard. Marxists transcend past this paradigm because there's certain things that conservatives say that is right, and there's certain things that liberals say that is right. But there's a lot of what both of them say that is wrong, and it's not because it's their
Mm-hmm.
fault. but it's because that's their ideologies. And
Right,
working
right.
class people who adopt these ideologies don't know any better, because oftentimes working class people adopting these ideologies don't study into these kinds of don't study into this kind of depth. They just study into what the party politics are in relation to these ideologies. And you know, I don't personally believe that there's things that the Republicans or the Democrats say that is adopting of our language or our belief systems. I think it's more along the lines of Marxists look at things a lot stronger in a economic and social relation. We try to understand it more in regards to the contribution or the harm it does to a given society, as to where liberals look at it from the, oh, personal freedom, everybody's, this doesn't really harm anybody and the people like it, so therefore it's fine. And then there's the conservatives that are a little bit more strict with that, where it's like, well, we don't like it because it has shown harm in this certain circumstance, and it just kind of becomes this big old spectacle of back and forthing all the time. But the I think it's more if we're talking more along the lines of liberals and the way that their belief systems are. Even with that, we've actually seen it firsthand with every election, every geopolitical event. Those beliefs are as fickle as the liberals themselves. They will let their principles
Absolutely.
go if it means backing their party in a certain circumstance where their party is not winning, and that's what bothers them the most. They do not want to lose the certain comfort they, as that political ideology, has.
Yeah. It's the famous the pivot line. Um the Where it's like, oh, this person has to, it's like candidate A was saying candidate A was saying this, that, and the other, promising the sun, moon, and the stars, right? And then, but they're like, okay, they've won their primary, and now they have to, if and now they have to like um tune their message to a more a general audience. And it's like, that's the audience, that they're speaking to is the same audience who's got, like, in the primaries, is the same audience that they're going to speak to in the general. Like, it's not like only the people who were voting for you in the primaries are listening to you right then. Sometimes that's the case, absolutely. But it's like, if you pay attention to politics, it's like, well, it's like, okay, well, this person said this at the start of their campaign. They've made it through the primaries. Now they're changing shit up in the general. And it's like, that just it normalizes deceit and deceitfulness. And but going back to, and it's really just detrimental to, I think, um okay, yeah, so this is my sermon on the mount. No, it's what you call it, all right, that's distracting, bro. You gotta
That's
you gotta
distracting. Well,
yeah.
All right, hold up. I forgot where Biden is.
go, but isn't that a common statement?
Biden doesn't know where Biden is.
By the way, finish up Tram, and let's move on to the next video.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna finish up with this point, and then we can move on. Is that what the point I was trying to get at earlier was that liberals and conservatives, or fascists, I should say, like to bite off our language, like to use our language to oftentimes to because they know it's popular, they know it's correct, they know that it's effective in communicating not policy goals, but in just plainly communicating to the general masses. And where they where they tend to fall, where they tend to falter, is in the case of the fascists. It's like fascists and socialists can both um, identify what is ailing the populace, all the things that are wrong. But where fascists, and I've said this so many times, where fascists drop the ball and always fuck up, is that they say the solution to this is deporting immigrants, killing immigrants, harassing and threatening minorities, like basically scapegoating any minority population, and because it's their fault, because at the end of the day, again, it's a white exclusive, white supremacist exclusive ideology, whereas a Marxist and a socialist will say, no, the people, the problem, the source of all your problems is the rich people hoarding wealth, the lack of democracy, and not just our elections, but in your workplace and in your regular day to day. We live in a society, that kind of shit. So that was the point I was trying to make earlier.
Yeah.
Does it sound better?
Huh?
Does it sound better?
It's
A
better than
little
the
echoey.
demon voice. Yeah.
Better than the demon voice.
Better than demon voice. Alright, let's gotta keep moving on.
Okay, so let me share my screen and
While you're doing that, real quick, I do want to make one quick statement.
yeah.
To Yeah, no, fascists do that, and that's because it actually goes back to something Stalin said, where he said, uh, fascism takes the proletariat and sticks them in the jungle. Basically, they know about the problems, but they're lost. That kind of deal. Um, Additionally, uh, the other thing I wanted to say is the reason Democrats adopt some of our language and try to adopt some of our beliefs as a way to appeal to workers is because they have no principles of their own and they have no real values of their own except whatever the party, people with the actual power, truly want. And that's largely because when you look at the people who vote Democrat, because I've had people tell me in organized politics before, they told me that don't believe too strongly to one specific thing, don't hold strong emotional values. Everything is fluctuating. You have to go with what the party decides, even if it may bother you, because that's what the party decides. So they basically tell you have no real strong principles on anything. Just put put in what you feel, and if it's adopted, it's adopted. If not, then you have to just side with what the organizations are moving towards.
Yeah, true enough. All right. This next video is what your dad watches every night. By Wizards with Guns.
Controversial legislation.
And we're back.
And it looks like burrito zippers are here to stay. In other news, today in Washington, Congress votes on the controversial legislation bill that would make all American laws legal in the United States. We gathered a panel of top political analysts to discuss the topic. Gentlemen, what do you think of all this?
Excuse me, can I talk? Can I say something? Thank you. So, America,
Miracles.
I forgot. I disagree.
I'm there with you, bro, buddy. I'm there with you.
America's America. Yes, the economy, especially this climate, and you know Congress. But sorry to hear right now.
unfortunately, that's all the time we have. But I want to thank each of our panelists for their unique perspective today.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Now let's go to our panel of panel analysts to analyze our previous panel.
The panelists. Oh,
I
geez.
think it went really well. I agree.
Thanks, boys. Up next, Long John Silver's. Are they making a comeback? No.
It's just in. You like and subscribe.
Yeah, that does sound like a Fox News segment.
I think this is really true, not just for Fox News, but for the whole corporate media. I'm very for state media over corporate media because corporate media is more corrupt than state media because state media, at least, for example, in a communist country, is representing the workers, right? While corporate media just represents the bourgeois or the rich capitalist agenda to manufacture concern and to doing things like wars and giving aid to Ukraine, giving aid to Israel, and manufacturing concern like the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Yeah, what liberals can never answer for me is like, and really anybody who like defends the status quo in this country is like, and what's been getting under my skin every time I think about it, it's like, yeah, there's really no difference of thought here. There's like people complain about monoculture, and it's just fucking Marvel movies and the Disney adults and shit like that, that they're running shit. But it's like, yeah, there's no outlet that speaks, like, even if we're not talking about like revolutionary outlets or anything like that. Um we're talking about like newspapers, papers of note and legacy news channels and stuff, all basically all saying the same shit. Like, there's just the aesthetics are different. There's a little bit, there's maybe a little difference in like in wording and stuff, but all in all, it's about the no matter what channel you change to, they're saying the same shit. It's pro corporate. For the conservatives, it's pro corporate nonsense with a focus on social issues, because that's all the fuck they can focus on. They don't have any policy prescriptions, so that's like social and it's the culture war always, 100% of the time. And then with liberals, it's like fighting the culture war on the conservatives' terms, but also not providing anything of substance. And that's like when we say that like liberals are basically becoming conservatives, it's like that's kind of where it's where it's coming from. Like liberals right now, like I forget who I was listening to. It was Hassan, and he's like 4 years ago, people were saying like, if you vote for Donald Trump, then you're gonna like hurt the migrants. Like, we gotta make sure Biden wins so that the migrants are safe and cared for and whatever, and they don't get beat up crossing the border, right? um and it's like, okay, he won, but migrants are still getting beat up, um crossing the border. They're still kids in cages, but also, no one's saying that shit now. No liberal is saying like, well, if you vote for Donald, like they've completely abandoned that talking
No,
point.
actually, hold on. Let me end this. This is the thing,
Yeah.
right? I learned from Obama that there was no point to vote for Biden because nothing's gonna fucking change because there was no change. I was smart enough, like some are, but many aren't, to realize, okay, there's functionally nothing different between the Republicans or the Democrats. Republicans, right? And yet, and by the way, I was fucking right, as I almost uniquely am when it comes down to organized politics. I was right when I came out back in the old days on TikTok, and I said there's not going to be any change if you vote for um if you vote for Biden. And I got attacked so fucking ruthlessly by these so-called leftists, by these fucking liberals, these radical liberals and the like, right? And this is what I'm seeing again, right? A lot of people who are coming out saying, "I'm not voting Kamala Harris, fuck all that. I'm voting for Jill Stein, or I'm not voting, or whatever." They're getting eaten alive by liberals because the liberals are out here trying to say, "Oh, if you don't do it, then we're gonna have fascism in America." It's the same fucking thing they said
Same shit.
the same shit when Trump was running for office and shit. And it's like nothing's fucking changed. And it's like the only thing that has changed is they no longer use the immigrant card, right? Like they now say it's like if you vote for if you don't vote, or if you vote for somebody else, Trump's gonna get in office, and all of the minorities are gonna get affected, like they said the last time that the election was running. It's bullshit. It's fear mongering. The only way the Democratic Party or the Republican Party can function today's time is fear mongering. They fear monger the fuck out of their communities. The Democrats fear monger people saying if you don't vote for the Democratic Party, then LGBT people, regular people, everybody's gonna get affected by crazy fascism and bullshit. And then there's the Republicans that say if you don't vote for the Republican Party, then we're gonna have mass waves of fucking immigrants just barreling through the border, invading the nation and shit. Fucking crazy.
Well, this is a concept that's been used throughout years. It's always the same thing, as you said. Both the lesser evil, depending on if you're a liberal or a Republican. And it's a tactic and a tool to use in order for like third parties not to exist and third parties not to prevail over the two-state party system. Myself, I believe one state party system, one state party system that is for the workers, that is the best ideal system to further advance not just the workers' class, but the nation as a whole into further development of as the Soviet Union did. They caught up to the United States very easily within a couple of years. That it was toe to toe on the various things like going to space and stuff like that.
Yeah. So conservatives, what they fear monger, it's like these minorities are going to kill you, and the liberals fear monger, and they say if you don't vote the right way, the conservatives are going to kill these minorities, and it's like, or they're going to do something against these minorities, and it's like, my brother in Christ, you're not doing anything right now for these minorities. Like you're treating them slightly better. Harm reduction. That's the phrase they love to throw out. They jack and jill themselves off with the whole harm reduction argument. But it's like, my brother in Christ, you don't give a fuck about these minority candidates. The whole like, if that you have made it so politics is a transactional endeavor, and really that's kind of all politics is just a series of transactions. And so don't be mad when other people, principled people, turn that shit around on you. It's like, oh, you want my vote? Hey, how about stopping the genocide in Gaza? How about putting sanctions on on like billionaires and stuff? How about taxing them more? How about doing everything in their power to and and I'm not even asking at this point. I'm not even asking for anything like radical, right? I'm saying like do stuff that like the Democrats from like I don't know 20 plus years ago would be okay with passing. You know, like or just more progressive shit. But instead, we get like, hey, um, it's it's because their politics is one of like it's like the big tent politics, but the aim of it is to continually dwindle down the key demographic that they're supposed to appeal to. It's like they want the most number of people. They will, or rather, the opposite. They want the least number of people to have outsized influence on the country as a whole, because that's what they're used to in the regular in their day to day. It's like they talk to donors. The donors set the pace. They have to tune their message to appeal to them and get money, and that is a self-defeating um that's a self-defeating tactic, because it's like that's not democratic at all, versus going the um grassroots route, and taking small dollar donations, um appealing to the general public, and like popular demands. We saw it with Bernie. It's like that was successful. But they say no, no, no. We don't want to be successful. Um, we just want to be in power. And it's like, well, you know, like it's one or the other, my guy. Um, like you, or rather, no, it's not one or the other. You can have both. You can be in power and be successful. It's like you want to shore up. You want to shore up. You want to make a one-party system. Just pass that populist shit, and watch Republican, and stop kowtowing to Republicans, and watch them just like dwindle away into the ash heap of history. But it's like no, they only exist to keep left wing populist candidates out of the electoral environment, and to help ratchet the country further right.
The problem with the two-party state system is that for a very long time, it's been very evident. I know there are some issues there, like, first, for example, abortion. The Democrats support abortion rights, and Republicans don't. But for most issues in the economy, both Democrats and Republicans believe in the same thing. They believe in the same values. They believe in the same things. So we have a sort of like dictatorship of a two-party state system, which does not allow us to go any other way than just the status quo of the capitalist system that we have in place. So it's a very it's a very good concept to research and to see how we can stop this type of system, because Jerome was saying, I'm not looking for anything like revolutionary, like, yeah, just like a section by the billionaires. And the problem with that is that the concept of like the fact that how much you're gonna sanction them might actually like make them leave the country, which supposedly the United States and the people are benevolent to the billionaires, and or the trickle down economy is due to the billionaires giving like the lower class money. I would say like go more revolutionary, like take them into productions of those the millionaires, their factories, their resources, and nationalize them and kick them out of the country and let them go to Europe. And if they want to organize in Europe, they can organize in Europe, and we can deal with that later. So it's a very interesting issue that people need to really think about. because I know it's extreme for some people, some viewers, to talk about stuff like that, but most of the resources were not obtained by the bourgeois capitalists, clearly, from generational wealth. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to like especially from slavery. So we need to put a stop on that.
Yeah. And that's all I heard in the debate as well was just like every debate has been like who's the better warmonger? You know, who's oh, I love Israel. I suck Israel's dick better. Like, no, I give better head to Israel. Like it's it's back to back just like yeah, who gives a better hand job? Who can who can prostrate themselves out for better for the empire. And it's like this appeals to fucking no one except the 1%. This appeals to like if you want Americans to continue to believe the fairy tale of like the American dream and like what our actual role is in uh in the country or I'm sorry in the world, if you want to keep that shit up, it behooves you to um to take on more, you know, socially liberal practices like more social spending and stuff like that. all it takes all it would take for people to continue to support, I mean right now it doesn't take a whole lot for people to support um the empire. Some motherfuckers are just doing this shit for free. It's like okay, but in order for you know for it to continue, you gotta like yeah you gotta give them something. But if like it's the like no it's like that dog throwing the ball meme. It's like no take, only throw. You know, it's like there's no just consume. No, you won't get any social spending. We're not going to make your lives easier. Just consume, copulate, and copulate, procreate, and you know keep going at it.
Let's move on. I think this is gonna be the last video because I can't do more than 2 hours. For my editor to actually take the video and cut it down.
Yeah, this one's Casey Frey up into Yurt. This is just some music. I don't think this is
Let's get real here. I think there's a lot going on that needs to be talked about. Okay, let's talk about it. First of all,
best new and upcoming reggaeton artist.
I'll be real with you. All these kids were coming when it first came out, you know, like the Yankees, the Garcia, you know, all that stuff. I started to hate it after a while because I like more of like Spanish or Latino hip hop instead of like old school hip hop beats. That's what I'm not really a fan of Bad Bunny. It's like
Dude, you're starting to sound like Bad Bunny. I don't know.
Bro,
Yeah.
I should make a record. I got this in mind that some people record with to like saying and stuff. I could use this in mic and put the mod in and start like doing Bad Bunny stuff and uh, putting on mixtapes and like saying I'm Bad Bunny.
Yeah, we could. Um, why is this a new story? Yeah. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
We can do one more. Um, I'd have to find it, but um, never mind.
I
Eh,
think we're good. I don't know. Like it doesn't tell me like, for example, like on the Twitch, right? I know we were on stream for a while without recording, right? But it says we're already at 1 hour and 40 minutes. On the recording, it doesn't tell me how
Oh yeah,
much
we're good.
the recording. So like, I just want to make it longer than 2 hours because of my other.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think we'll call it today. So we didn't have an intro, but and we don't have much of an outro, but
Yeah,
thanks y'all for what's up?
yeah, I was gonna say we're mob boss Bolshevism, and
Yeah.
we do stuff. You know, we're gonna start a revolution. We're gonna be the vanguard of the working class people,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna take power over the United States program, and we support Hezbollah Hamas.
And we're gonna make a pickle farm. That's people tend to overlook that bit, but you know, it's gonna happen. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to us. This has been Mob Boss Bolshevism. I'm your host, Drem.
Marxist Hezbollah.
Islamic socialist.
And Donald
And
Trump, give a shout out to Donald Trump for just
oh yes,
starting today.
thank you to our guests, Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Kylo Ren, for all making a surprise guest appearances today. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.